everybody. Happy Monday morning, Greater Heartland. This is our first installment of New Week, New Updates. I'm joined with Brett Pickett. Hey, Brett. Good morning.
Hey, what's up, Clark? How are you?
Good,
I
man.
know it was the first installment. I feel so honored.
Thanks. Well, and it is the first installment, and Facebook world out there or YouTube where you might be watching this, you got a better name, we'll receive that. New Week, New Updates. I guess it works.
I like it.
Yeah. So our intent here is to provide the associates, our leadership, and our agents here within our region, the good buzz around our technology, what's new that you need to be aware of. So we're not going to waste any time. We're going to jump right into this. And our first update for you all today is a big one. This is team activity tracking. This is really exciting. So if you are on a team, okay, whether you're a rainmaker or an executive assistant or director of ops or whatever your role is on a team, we now have the ability to daily report our lead gen activities, okay? And here's the great thing about all these updates that we're going to do. We're going to do a light touch on this just to make you aware and give you the articles to do a deep dive. So again, we're not going to go through all this. We're going to keep this update short, give you the articles you need to go dive deeper. And of course, you always have your amazing Market Center tech trainers with you there. So yeah, Brett, I didn't even say where you're from. Introduce yourself. I said, Brett, who are you?
So I'm Brett Pickett from the Kansas City area, technically in Prairie Village, Kansas, but right on the other side of the state line from Kansas City. So the Kansas City area, and I am a Market Center tech trainer extraordinaire, they say.
Oh, man. Yeah, Brett, you're one of the OGs for Market Center tech folks, right?
Yeah, that's all this gray hair right here, and all this no hair up here. Yes, OG, I guess, is appropriate. So
that's awesome, man. All right, so we got team activity tracker. I'm going to add my screen right here to demonstrate. Okay, what are we talking about here? There we go. Let me just switch this so it doesn't look so crazy. And so what we're seeing here is we're in a team account, right? So if you've already logged into your team account and you've gone to your dashboard, you might have noticed a widget that popped up. And this is the functionality of the team activity tracker. Now, in this example, as in this training account, we've done this quite a bit. Yet what you have the ability to do is the rainmaker of that team can set out a report to be emailed to every single team member that will let them know what their lead gen activities have been for. They get to self-report it. And so there's a couple of layers of this, real quick highlights. Again, we'll put the article in here. And yet everybody on the team can report how many hours of lead gen they did that week or that day, how many contacts they made, how many buyer appointments did they sit in on, how many under contract for listings, whatever it might be, a full report of your business productive activities for the day. So when you're first in here, the team activity, you will see a spot to submit your activities for the day. And depending on your kind of role in the team here, we believe you're able to see other activities that people have done or what they've reported. There's a leaderboard widget here as well. You'll notice in this account that I have already submitted the activity for today, and yet I can go back here and edit it. So what does this do? This form is emailed to you, and when you click on the email, it takes you to this page. You can also do it within command when you submit it for the first time. And yet these are the questions that you are asked. So once this is filled out and submitted, you can go back and, of course, make changes, which I could do here. There's a few other questions here, but what really is cool about this is, yes, it allows for great conversations within your team to pace set for your goals, right? Whether you're on track or not. There's also a fun leaderboard that I mentioned here. And also in reports, you get kind of a full breakdown of more insights from these submissions that are coming through every day. So we click here on activity, again, within the team account, you'll see a calendar here, a little week view calendar, and you'll see as you begin to send this out who needs to be reporting their numbers for what day. And there's all settings in there. I'll point to those settings here in just a moment. But you'll be able to see what comprehensively the team is doing, how many hours were spent in lead gen, conversations, appointments, agreements, all that information in an agent by agent or team member by team member breakdown below there. So this is really amazing. Great insights, especially for productivity coaches, rainmakers, be able to to lead well and have great conversations of the activities we know we all need to be doing, this is a great tool. So
I was just going to say that for the offices that have productivity coaches in them, this also will appear for them in their team account that they might be using, and a great way to track. And Clark, you would say this is probably an excellent tool for for rainmakers or productivity coaches to use in their team meetings. A good place to start and kind of talk about, as well as their one-on-one sessions with their team members, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, and there's some flexibility here, right? So whether it's a weekly meeting or even a daily debrief, there's some options here. So the Rainmaker can only set this up. I'm logged in as a Rainmaker. Real quick here, I won't go through all of it, but if you go here under reporting, under command settings, activity tracking, here's where you can set everything up. The article that's in the comment section will show you more in details here, but you can decide which days to send it out and even how many email reminders are sent out per day.
Cool.
Yep. Awesome stuff. All right. So that's our team activity tracking. Next, we have email export opportunities, and Brett's going to lead us on this one. Yeah. All right.
Cool. Excellent. So if I pull up, can you see my screen okay?
Yep. We're good.
So there's a new the previous exporting capability. I'm inside of an opportunity that has some documents loaded into it under the Documents tab, and our previous export functionality was right over here under a button that was right where my mouse is. It looked similar to this button here, but we've moved it from here all the way up to here. So I shouldn't say we. Clark and I didn't do it. KW did. Our
you don't want to see
development team. So now we've got a bunch of new choices and better ways to export the documents out. So if I click up here, again, I'm on my Documents tab inside of my opportunity, and all my documents that are in both my listed and under contract compliance event folders are going to be able to be accessed through here. So if I click on Export Documents, I've got a couple of choices and a modal here it'll walk me through doing all the different things. First choice you have is you can put some security credentials on the export that you might be sending out to maybe a client or somebody like that. You can decide if you want what kind of credentials you want, and then password, protect them with a certain password or whatever. Okay. Won't be doing that this time, but that's something that you can do. You can just export everything, just an easy one click. If I click this, you'll notice everything down here also gets checked, and I can just export from there and I'm done. So pretty quick and easy way to click, export, go in and just export everything in the file. But beyond that, if you wanted to do just a certain amount of thing or certain documents, you can actually break these folders down here at the bottom and just pick certain things that you want to export. Now, the gray ones are just not present, so that's why those aren't there. But everything that's available for you to export out of your file will be checkable. And again, you can open up your under contract file and you can choose what you want to export out. So kind of either all in one, or you can piecemeal it out with whatever you want, and then you'll click export and pull that out. You can also, if you want to, at the same time you're exporting it, directly email it off to a client or yourself or something like that by just clicking here and then putting in the email address you want to send it to. Okay.
That's the bigger one. That's a brand new piece, right? We've been able to export for a while and choose them. Yet to be able to just to send them to someone and the client email there makes it really easy.
And what happens is when you do it, it's going to say, okay, there'll be a success message up here at the top in green that'll say, your export is being taken care of, and you will receive a notification as well as an email as well, right, Clark? You get an email also. Yep. But you'll notice I did this earlier. So this is a notification that came through for what I was just exporting out of that file. And I can just click here to download that zip file, which will then pop up in my downloads, and I can unzip that and all my documents will be there.
Yeah, such an important piece, right? I mean, just by hitting export, you're thinking, well, I didn't see it drop down in the bottom, right? You got to wait for that notification. That's good.
Right. Yep.
Important piece there. We're rolling on. All right. So next we got Twilio credit and credit expiration. So we've been talking about this for a while, and yet we are approaching the first expiration date. Okay. So no, this is how. Yeah, I know, right?
I'm the de facto sound effects guy also.
That wasn't bad. I like that. So starting September 1st, this is going to allow your credits that are unused if it's been past a year. So if you had credits September 1st of 2020, they will expire September 1st. Now, here's the good news. If you've accumulated credits over time, these credits have the oldest credits are used first, right? So just know that if you had credits that you had bought September 1st, 2020, and they were unused, those will expire. Okay. Now the credits used for the month of October 2020 won't expire, but it's that month of September 1st. So
make sure we're clear. On September 1st of 2021, I'm not losing all my credits.
Correct.
On September 1st of 2021, I'm losing the credits that were from August.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So if they're 12-month-old credits, correct.
Yep.
Bingo. Yep. So again, the only use case maybe here is, if you bought a bunch of credits when Twilio first came out, right? You bought like 5,000 and you've only sent out a couple of hundred, then maybe put your antennas up that blast out a text.
Start using them.
Right. Download my app.
Use it or lose it, people.
Right. All right. So only one more update that we have for you this week, and that is the ability to disable consumer neighborhoods.
That's me again, yeah?
Yeah, Brett, what are we talking about here today?
Okay, so if you guys can remember, I think they're here. So let me go back up one page here. In the consumer applet, if you're on your consumer applet in command down here, and you pull up that section and site and app settings, there are a couple of new pieces down here, and one specifically that we're talking about. If you scroll down under general, the general tab, you'll notice this preferences drop down here. It's a little bit not necessarily immediately jumping out at you. So go find the preferences drop down underneath general tab in your site and app settings in your consumer platform or your consumer applet. And you'll see some preferences down here that you can turn on and off. Your Keller Mortgage, your Keller Covered. These have been there for a while. And it's basically just enable and disable is your option. So you can also now enable and disable the neighborhood lines from showing up on your website and app. So why would I want to do that, Clark?
Well, maybe you're not a fan of the neighborhoods, or maybe you're in an area that there's just one neighborhood and maybe it's a rural area and the neighborhoods don't really make sense to the consumer, and you've received that from them. All right. So actually,
we've got some areas of the country. Yeah, we've got some areas of the country out there where maybe the neighborhoods aren't exactly, they're not accurate necessarily, or there aren't any there, or like Clark said, it's all one big neighborhood or something like that. So if you want to, you can just shut those off so it's not creating any kind of confusion on your platform. So before I disable it, let me show you. So if I go to my website right here and I just want to do a search for where I am, pretty much everybody knows where I live now. You'll notice these neighborhood lines right here.
And cookies.
Right. The neighborhood lines right here are what we're talking about. So right now, these are enabled, as you saw in my settings. They're enabled. So if I disable these and hit save changes, it's pretty immediate. So it says it might take 24 hours, so be aware that it might. But usually, if I go back and I refresh this page, same search, in my same neighborhood, in my area where I am, I'm now not seeing those neighborhood lines anymore. So if that's something that the neighborhood lines aren't accurate, or for some reason you don't want to have those, then you can definitely disable that now, which I think is going to be a huge plus for a lot of people out there. Yeah. There's a couple other things this does too. It does the same thing on your app. It also will disable on the top of the list view on your app where it has kind of the different neighborhoods that are nearby. It disables that nearby neighborhoods feature and a couple other places where that neighborhood functionality is kind of interwoven into the operating system. One thing it won't do, though, is when you go into the actual listing, it'll still display the neighborhood for that actual listing. So, because at that point, if the neighborhood's good, then it'll still display there. But anything else, Clark?
I think that's it. Those are our updates for today. We'll have these continually on Monday. So thanks for being a part our little journey here on new updates, or new week, new updates. You got a better name, let us know.
No, I like it. Yeah, don't change it, guys. No, but we don't need your input. Right. I'm just kidding.
Hey, Brett, thanks for walking this through with us. Y'all have a great week.